Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today, I am going to be working on my Gamer Girl from Medusa No Longer the Doll Maker. I don't know what that's about, but Medusa Doll Maker, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to be working on this kit. Let me rearrange things a bit so I can zoom into the section where I'm going to be working, and then we'll get into it. Whew, I'll be right back. All right, so first of all, guys, a couple things to get out of the way. Apologies if this WIP and Chat is not as long as my usual. I actually don't know how long I'm going to talk for. It's been a day, and yeah, I'm not recovered from it yet. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. Whew, where do I want to start? Oh, well, I'll just start with my life update. So usually I start by saying everyone is healthy and well. For the most part, everyone is healthy and well. However, I told you that my youngest has been going out to play disc golf, and he came home, it's probably been a week now, and he had some big, what looked like mosquito bites, bug bites on his legs, and what looked like a big scratch. They were itchy, you know, we just put bites on it. He'd been out several times in the previous weeks, had the same thing. He'd gotten a bad sunburn one week, so he was peeling from that. So we'd got him aloe, we got him calamine lotion. We went out, I even got him some poison ivy stuff because I wasn't sure, you know, because it was taking so long to go away. Well, he came up a couple days ago and says, "Mom, look at my leg," and it is just swollen. And what had looked like a long scratch between two bites was just kind of like a line, maybe, you know, maybe a centimeter wide, and it was now almost an inch wide. And I was like, okay, his leg was swollen, and I said, okay, let's put him in an oatmeal bath. And then I said, you need to elevate your leg and see if that helps with the swelling. Well, it did. It went down by quite a bit, and we thought we were doing okay. He got up Saturday morning and his leg was all swollen again. Just his calf, where all of his bites are, but everything was still red and inflamed, and it looked like it was spreading. And I'm like, I don't know if this is poison ivy. I've never had poison ivy myself. I don't know if this is poison oak, poison sumac, if he got into something weird while he was out traipsing around in these parks. Because sometimes they have to go hunt in the grass for, you know, discs that go off target or whatever. So I said, I think before it gets any worse, we just need to go to the emergency room. This was on Saturday. Not the emergency room, immediate care. Neither one of us have a primary care physician at the moment. Our last primary doctor basically quit with no notice, and we just haven't been back. We haven't needed, you know, knock on wood, been lucky enough to not need any health care since he left. And they were at the time very short-staffed and way backed up, and so we had just kind of said, okay, well, you know, we'll get established with who, like, they didn't even have anybody to take his place, because he just, like, literally was there one day and gone the next, didn't give him any notice or anything. So they were scrambling, and I just said, you know, we don't have any immediate needs, we'll just come back later. Well, of course, then something pops up when we don't have one. They're not open on Saturdays anyway, so immediate care was really our only option other than the emergency room. So we get to immediate care, and OMG, you guys, like, I try to be super understanding. I know they're busy. I know they're probably short-staffed, but we were there for 3 hours. And I mean, this is an immediate care in a town of roughly 10,000 people. So, I mean, there were only like 5 of us in the waiting room, and it took forever. And I made the mistake of, he was not feeling good because his leg was bothering him. I want to get it taken care of, so we just took off. Well, it was right around lunchtime. And unbeknownst to us, right before we got there, somebody had come in who had basically cut open his hand and he needed a bunch of stitches. So, of course, they took him in first. He was bleeding pretty heavily and all that kind of stuff. So we're sitting there and we're waiting and we're waiting. And my son does not do well when he's hangry. Like if he doesn't eat pretty regularly, he gets a headache and then he gets super irritable. So after an hour, he was just ready to go. And I'm like, there's nowhere else for us to go. And I'm not going to just go home and hope that it gets better. We've been doing this for a week already. It's not getting any better. We need to have somebody look at it. Finally, the person that was in front of us got called in. And I said, okay, well, you're next. So, by this time it's like, we got there at like 11:30 and this time it's like 2 o'clock. And I said, do you want me to go get you something to eat while you're in the exam room? And that way you'll have food when you come out. No, I just want to leave. And I just said, I'm not leaving. You're next in line. We've already been here this long. We need to get it looked at. They immediately after I said that came out and took him back to the exam room. And I thought, okay, we're going to get out of here soon. I can get him fed. We'll see if he needs any meds. Want to find out what's going on. So they take him back to the room. Meanwhile, I'm texting my husband because, gosh, when it rains, it pours. Maybe that'll be the title for this video. So Friday night, well, let me back up. Last week, for the last 2 weeks, my husband has been called out every week, it seems like, to go on a storm. We'll have a bad storm roll through either the state we're in or one of the neighboring states, and they get called out to go work, which is fine. He doesn't mind that. And we always appreciate the extra money. He always, whenever they call, okay, I'm going to go play. That's what he says. I'm going to go play. I'm going to go play lineman for a little bit. And he really enjoys interacting with people and, helping them get their power back on and everything. And of course, it doesn't hurt that, people are usually glad to see him, especially if they've been out of power for a while. But my husband is just so easygoing and happy-go-lucky. The man never has a bad day, and he's just always smiling. So Friday night, we wake up in the middle of the night. There was a crack of thunder so loud that I thought our house had been hit. And we're like, well, nope, we don't think it was our house. And then I had woken up like a half an hour before and it was raining pretty heavily. And I just remember thinking, oh, well, I didn't know it was supposed to rain tonight. And then there was this loud crack of lightning and thunder. And no lie, I thought, I don't know how close it was. We never did figure it out, but it sounded like it was right outside our bedroom. And we have a couple big trees, so I was afraid one of our trees had been hit. Wasn't one of our trees, so that was good. So we heard the lightning, I heard the thunder, saw the lightning, heard that big boom. And then, it's the middle of the night. My husband thought, well, he likes to sit out and watch the storms. He was going to get up, but it was like literally like 3 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, no, it's too middle of the night. I'm not going to get up and go sit outside in this. I'll just, we just kind of waited to see if it was going to taper off, if we needed to get up and check the weather in case there was going to be any tornadoes or anything. It put on a pretty good lightning show for about half an hour and, thunder, but the thunder was moving away from us and getting less loud. And the rain had pretty much tapered off. I mean, it was still sprinkling a little bit here and there, but nothing bad. So we ended up just going back to sleep and then, getting up in the morning. Oh my gosh, did you hear that? Did that wake you up? Yeah. So he gets up to go get groceries and tells me, we were kind of up for a little bit in the middle of the night last night. You just sleep. I'll be back with the groceries. So he leaves to go get groceries. So I get up because I've got things to do. I need to do, laundry, and I needed to do some filming and some other things. I'm like, well, I'll just get up. That way when he's back, we will, put the groceries away. I'll get some of my chores done. I'll get filmed done, all of that. Well, when he gets back, we notice on the porch is our Universal Yums box, which we'd been waiting on. I was supposed to get here Friday, but didn't get here until Saturday. So he goes out to get it, and I said, well, let's open it up and go through it. Okay, well, let's get the groceries and everything put away first. We got the groceries put away. As we're finishing putting away the groceries, his phone rings, and it's his boss. And we're like, oh, that means they're calling you out for a storm. So then we're running around, are his work clothes clean? They were still in the dryer from the last storm that he left for. Hadn't even got that far yet. And so he's packing everything up and getting ready to go. And I said, well, can we at least open this box of stuff we were so excited to get? Some of it my husband is not going to be able to eat because he's diabetic, but I wanted to at least open it so we could see if there was anything in there that he wanted to try or something he wanted to take as a snack. We opened up the box. It was actually a really cool box. I guess the way it works is the first month you sign up for, you get to pick from 3 countries. And then after that, you just get whatever country is the box that they're sending out that month. So we don't get to pick anymore, which is kind of a bummer. But we got to start with Greece. So we got all this cool stuff. It had like a little pamphlet thing on the top that has information about Greece. And there's like a scorecard on the back so you can score what you liked, what you didn't, of what's in the box, that kind of thing. There was a pack of flashcards to learn the Greek alphabet. There was a little booklet that has a bunch of information about Greece in it. And then there was a packet of stickers. And then, of course, all the food. So we're going through all the food, just trying to pick out, is there anything that he can take in his lunchbox that, he's got road snacks and that kind of thing. So there was an oatmeal cookie with chocolate chips and chunks of orange, which I told him to go ahead and take because I wouldn't have minded the oatmeal and the chocolate chip, but I'm not a fan of cooked fruit ever. I can't stand fruit pies. I just can't do mushy fruit. Ugh. So he took that, and then there was some candy, like little pieces of candy in a little bag. One was some kind of rose candy. There was a taster, and it was like a chewy, almost like Laffy Taffy consistency, but there was some kind of weird spice to it that I just did not like. He enjoyed it, so he took one of those. And then there was some kind of chewy pomegranate flavor one. I haven't tried it yet. My son did not enjoy it. And then there was baklava, which I ate. I love baklava. It was delicious. What else was in there? There was some prickly pear candy. I haven't had any of that yet either. It looks almost like a Turkish delight with all of the powdered sugar around the outside, but it's supposed to be prickly pear on the inside. My son ate it and I asked him what it tasted like, and he said it tastes like a Mike and Ike with powdered sugar on it. I don't know if that sounds appetizing or not. I haven't tried it yet. Then there were some oregano flavored potato chips. My husband took those because that didn't sound good at all to me. What else was in there? Oh, there were some almond shortbread cookies that were dusted in powdered sugar. We haven't opened those yet. There were some little, it says mini breadsticks, basil pesto mini breadsticks. Basically, they just taste like croutons. So, I don't know, croutons are a snack food, I guess, in Greece. And then, what else was in there? Oh, there were some, I don't know what they are, what the name of them was. I can't remember, but they were like little kind of croissant type pastries filled with cream. Haven't opened those yet either. And I feel like there was one more thing, but I can't remember now. Oh, there was like little mini bruschetta in a bag. I haven't opened those yet either. So yeah, we got some, it looks fun. And while I'm kind of bummed that we're not going to get to pick our country each time, because that sounded like fun, at least it'll give us a little exposure to maybe some things that we wouldn't have tried before. So that'll be fun. It'll be fun for me and my husband. Anyway, so he got to sort of go through it and see if there was anything he wanted before he left. He went out the door to go storming. And then I'm going, okay, so now I need to do this and this. I'm going to start, our laundry. Since his work clothes were done, I need to do the rest of the laundry. I needed to, clean the kitchen, do some other things. And then I was going to sit down and film, which I'm already off my game because I normally film my WIP and chats. Well, for a long time, I was filming them on Saturday. And then I got to where I was filming them on Friday because that gave me Saturday and Sunday to spend with my husband, where I wasn't worried about I need to post this or whatever. I just needed to do my social media stuff, but I didn't have to film and edit and upload and, you know, take all that time to do that. Because the whip and chats are one of the most labor intensive ones. You know, they tend to be longer than my other videos. It takes me longer to edit them because of that. It takes longer to upload them because of that. And it takes longer to film. Anyway, I hadn't done it yesterday or Friday because we were busy doing other things. There was a whole issue with the car, my husband's new car. If I remember, I'll get back to that. And anyway, about the time my husband left, my son comes up and his leg is all swollen again. And it looks like the spread is even worse. So then we set off for the emergency room. So you guys, I'm so discombobulated. I think I told you all about the emergency room and everything already. Not the emergency room. I keep saying the emergency room. Immediate care. The walk-in clinic. So we went to the walk-in clinic, spent forever there. Where did I leave off? So he finally gets called back in. I had been texting my husband, who was now on the road to his storm, saying, you know, I can't talk. We're in the waiting room. I'm not supposed to be using my cell phone. I can text. He's like, well, you know, we're going here, there, and there, so I'll call you back later. Okay. And then I'm texting him, we're still waiting. Nobody's come out yet. He hasn't gone in. And he's like, what is taking so long? And then he finally gets called back. You know, I texted my husband. They finally called him back. And then it was another 30 minutes before they finally actually saw him. So my youngest was probably climbing the walls in the exam room, waiting in there for either that or he took a nap, one of the two, waiting for them to come in and look at it. And then, you know, he comes out and he's got, of course, 2 prescriptions that we need to go pick up. And we're getting in the car and he's like, Mom, that's so ridiculous. 3.5 hours for 10 minutes of him. And I'm like, I understand, but this is what happens when you have to come to immediate care. And I said, you know, if we'd had to go to the actual emergency room, because the immediate care is not open on Sundays, so if we'd had to go on a Sunday, we would have had to go to the emergency room. It likely wouldn't have been any better. And, you know, this is just, sorry. You know, get sick on a 9 to 5 so we could take you to a regular doctor's office and it wouldn't go like that. But I mean, I mean, even for me, it was crazy. I was just like, I can't believe this is taking so long. I mean, if we had gone to the immediate care in the big town that's near us, that's, you know, 500,000 people, I would have expected to have that kind of a wait. But in this little small suburb that's 30 miles away, no, it just crazy. So we finally get done there. And so I said, okay, well, he's got a prescription. We've got to go pick up 2 scripts. And I said, well, did they call it in? Well, I think so. Because he told them, you know, we needed this pharmacy. Okay. Let's go get some food first, because my thinking was that he could be eating and not hangry while we have to wait on the medicine, because I knew we were probably going to have to wait. So we went and got food, and then we went, luckily this was all really close together, but then we went back to the pharmacy, and I leave him in the car thinking, you know, he'll eat in the car. Well, I go into the pharmacy to check, do you have this script, or do I need to give you this piece of paper with the prescriptions on it? No, we have it. They called it in. But it's going to be 30 minutes. Okay. So I go back out to the car, and I didn't want to tell my son it was going to be 30 minutes. So I just said, they're backed up. I have to wait. So I'm going to wait out here in the car. I'm going to eat my lunch that I had bought, because I had a migraine coming on by that time. And so I ate my lunch. And meantime, he's still chomping at the bit. Let's drive around. Let's go do this. I'm like, I'm not going to drive around and go do all this. It's fine. We'll just sit here in the parking lot. I'm going to eat my food, and then I'm going to go back in and wait. You can sit here in the car. I'll leave it running, so you're in the air conditioning. Have your food, whatever, and I'll be back with your prescriptions. So I go back in, and they had told me 30 minutes. It only took about 20. But go in, and they're just, all of them, all 3 people who were on duty were just running flat out. The pharmacist came over. One of the medicines that they put my son on is some kind of steroid or something, and it's a taper dosage. Like, he has to take so many one day. No, he has to take so many for 3 days, then reduce the number of pills by 1 for 3 days, then reduce it by 1 again for 3 days, et cetera, until he runs out of what they prescribed. And then he's got an antibiotic that he's supposed to take on top of that. Okay, and if he's not any better or it gets worse, then I'm supposed to take him to the emergency room. Okay, got it. Get the scripts and go home. By this time, we've been gone almost 5 hours. I have a migraine. He's slightly less grumpy because he's been fed. And I'm trying to update my husband on what's going on because, you know, he's calling me. What's wrong? Did they say what it was? You know, what's he got to do? All this stuff. And luckily it wasn't, well, the medications were not expensive. It was like $10 for the 2 medications that he needed. I have no idea how much it's going to cost for the visit, but whatever. That'll be covered by insurance. But oh my goodness, it was so ridiculous. And I can just feel the muscles in my back and my neck are just so tense. And I'm already having an issue because I don't know what I did, but my right wrist is really, really sore. I actually meant to put my brace on before I came in here to start filming and I forgot. So I'll be putting that on later today. But it hurts from my wrist. Like I can't bend my wrist all the way down without it hurting. And it hurts all the way up into my shoulder if I move a certain way. So I'm going to have to kind of put the brakes on doing as much diamond painting as I've been doing, just because I think that's some of it, just to give it a rest. I don't know what I did. I don't know if I slept on it wrong. Like it doesn't hurt while I'm diamond painting, so I don't think it's my diamond painting that did it. But anyway, so hubby's gone. Youngest was hangry. Ugh. And I guess part of the migraine was more storms possibly heading through. So you guys, it's been a day. I just want to take a nap. If none of that made any sense and it was all disjointed, I so apologize, but that's kind of how my brain is functioning at the moment. Yeah, just so many things going on. So mostly healthy and well, except for the youngest's leg. Thank goodness he said they're done playing disc golf. The friends that he was playing with are back. School's getting ready to start up and they all play on a football team at the college they're at. So they're back in football practice. So they don't have a lot of spare time, and what spare time they do have, they don't want to do anything athletic because football practice is enough. So he's not planning on going anywhere else, which is good because the whole thing with our car, he had been taking our new car, which is fine. My son came home and said there was something, a low tire pressure warning came on. Not super low, but just, you know, you need to look at this. And so I said, okay, well, just don't drive that one anymore. I don't drive that car. I think I've driven it once since we got it. I'm not familiar with it. We'll just wait till my husband gets home. He can look at it. Just drive the other car until then. So he took the other car. We went to go get groceries or something in it, I think. And it was really, the steering wheel was really wobbly. And he's like, what is going on? And I'm like, well, it looks like somebody ran into a curb or something and knocked something out of alignment is what I would assume happened. It wasn't me because I haven't driven the car, and if it wasn't you, then it must have been the youngest, who of course didn't say anything whatsoever about running into anything. So he takes it to the tire place in town and they look at it, and he looks, the tires have some kind of, the wheels, and forgive me, I don't know enough about cars, but the metal part, the wheel, not the tire, but the wheel, the chrome is coated, or the steel is coated with some kind of black stuff. And you can see where, like, it looks like he ran into a curb or something, and some of it has been scraped off. And I mean, it was like maybe a scratch of an inch. I didn't even notice it. And my husband's like, yeah, I didn't really see it until they had it jacked up on the lift, you know, while they were looking at it, trying to figure out what was wrong with it. So it just needed a tire alignment. They did the tire alignment, no big deal. But you know, then I'm telling my youngest, okay, you need to let us know when something like that happens because it affects how the car drives. And then my husband was telling me that the other car that he took, he must have been driving on dirt roads because the car is covered in dirt. And I'm like, okay, that car sits really low to the ground. It's the one that belonged to my dad. I avoid driving on dirt roads if at all possible because It's kind of a sporty car. It wasn't made for, you know, our roads around here, especially dirt roads, are full of ruts almost all the time. So we were like, okay, here's the deal. You can drive the car. You can go, you know, where you need to go. Don't be off-roading in the big four-wheel drive car. If you hit something, you need to let us know. Now there's the tire pressure warning, which I don't think my youngest had anything to do with that because it was doing that before he drove it. But just, yeah, I'm like, ugh. Again, when it rains, it pours. So all that's going on. And then, this has been an ongoing issue. So at the beginning of July, my youngest and I went in to get our teeth cleaned. And our dentist never sends us a bill. I don't know why. We have a healthcare spending account with a card that we can use to pay, you know, things that aren't covered by insurance. And my husband, several months ago, probably back in April, had to have 2 crowns and a root canal. And I think a couple of fillings. Plus he always ends up having to do the cleanings where they scrape underneath your gums, the ones that they have to numb you up for. So we owed quite a bit of money on his. Okay, so when I went out to check to see how much we had on our card, our healthcare spending account card, and there was enough in there to pay the whole bill. But I just said, well, let's just pay, you know, this portion of it. So I give her my card while we're there getting our teeth cleaned, and she runs it. Oh, it didn't go through, the transaction failed. Okay, well, that's really weird. I've never had a problem with it before. And so she runs it again, and it's a new person at the dentist's office, and she comes out, no, it failed again. And she's like, I don't really want to run it a third time. And I'm like, no, I'm with you there. Don't run it a third time. I'll see, you know, if it's a problem on our end. If it's not, then I'll call and I'll just make a payment over the phone, which is usually what I do. I just call and give them the card information over the phone, and then they mail me a receipt. So I go in when I get home. I, you know, tell my husband it was weird, and he's like, no, there should be plenty of money on it. So just call him. So I call him, and then over the phone, I tell him, well, I want to pay double what I had told them the first time because there was more than enough on the card for that. And that would get us down to a pretty decent balance. And we'll just go from there and see how much is left at that point. And I always have them, when I pay over the phone like that, I always have them mail me a receipt just for my records so that I have it. Well, I get the receipt in the mail, and instead of the even dollar amount, it's like some weird dollar and cents amount. So I called them and I said, okay, why is it for this amount and not this? And she's like, well, that's all that would go through. She tried putting in the amount that I'd given her, and I'm like, okay, well, that's weird. There should have been more than enough in the account to cover what I was telling you to charge. And she's like, well, I just assumed there was a daily limit or something. And I said, well, okay, but it wouldn't be a weird, like, $8.51, you know, was the ending of it. And I was like, it wouldn't be a weird dollar and cents amount. If it was a daily dollar limit, it would be just like an even dollar amount. So that doesn't make any sense either. I go check into it, log into my husband's account because the insurance is through him, get to the healthcare stuff, the spending account, and our balance is nothing. There's nothing on our card. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on? We should have several $100s left here. So I go in and I look at the transactions. Well, one of the transactions that she ran when we were there getting our teeth cleaned, because she ran my card twice. The first one didn't go through, but the second one did. So she got that payment, and then they got double that payment when I called in over the phone, which essentially wiped out our healthcare spending account, which was more than we owed her. So now we have a credit at this dentist's office. And that's even after taking into account the money that we owed after they had processed the cleanings for my son and I. So they owe us, I mean, I think they only owe us like $34 or something back. So it's not a huge amount, but still, it's my money. And I'm like, how do you not know that your payment went through? So when I called the doctor's office, the dentist's office, well, the lady that does the billing wasn't there that day. She'll call me back. She called me back 2 days later and basically said, yeah, they think there's a problem with whoever they're using to run the credit cards, because I'm not the only person calling with this problem. And so she needed my card number because basically they were going to have to go back through all of their transaction logs and see where this card number and payment appeared. And I'm like, well, I made screen prints and I printed out the stuff from the healthcare account when I went in to look at it, because it's got like transaction log numbers and stuff. So you've got the money, and well, we just need to verify all of this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know, irritated that what? They think I'm trying to lie and get this money back because that's easy enough to check out. And I'm irritated because, like, how many people have you done this to that you don't know? Like, if their machine was faulty, like, there should be some way to check that. You know what I mean? And I told my husband, you would think somebody doing like month-end accounting would realize, hey, wait a minute, we've got more money than we're showing we took in. Where did these extra payments come from? But, you know, I told my husband, I guess I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I called right at the beginning of August, so maybe they hadn't got around to doing July, you know, month-end kind of stuff, whatever, reconciliation. But so irritating. It's just been one thing after another. I think that was everything that I needed to tell you about my life update. Oh my goodness, you guys. It's just been kind of crazy. Everybody cross your fingers that this medicine works for my youngest and we don't have to do anything else, because like I said, I've never had, none of my kids have ever had before poison ivy. My husband's never had poison ivy, which seems kind of crazy. He's constantly out and about and, you know, walking through knee-high grass and that kind of stuff. You'd think he would have run into it, but he's got, they always keep, you know, poison ivy stuff on hand in the trucks, but he's never personally run into it. And I don't know why I put those F's away, because I had all these down here to do, but yeah, that's where my brain is at right now. Okay. It doesn't matter. It'll all get done eventually. Okay, so that was my life update. That was a doozy. Let's hope that everything is a little bit quieter this coming week. Isn't that like a Irish proverb? You know, may your life be interesting, or an Irish curse or something. May your life never be boring. I don't want my life to be boring, but quiet would be nice. I'm talking to my husband. It's always kind of a circus when they go out storming, because, you know, it's happened quickly. People are kind of scrambling to figure out what's where. And I can't tell you how many times they get someplace and everything's fixed when they get there. And so then they get sent someplace else. And by the time they get someplace else, everything's been fixed there. It's shaping up to be one of those trips so far. And while, you know, he still gets paid, even if they're just driving around and not actually working, he doesn't like that because he hates just driving around like that. It's boring and he doesn't like it. And I just, you know, think to myself, gosh, they're wasting so much money paying all of these people and all these trucks to drive around and do nothing. You know, if they were doing something, that'd be one thing. But the amount of waste sometimes is mind-boggling. Anyway, okay. Diamond painting life. Whew. Not a whole lot going on in my diamond painting life, probably because real life has been so crazy the last couple of days. Although I was reminded of one of my pet peeves when it comes to ordering things. So I have ordered several different items. I've ordered a couple of diamond paintings. A lot of companies do this, and I'm sure it has to do with, you know, their integration of their shipping software and, you know, whatever, but it peeves me no end to get an email that says, yay, your item has shipped. And when I go to look at the tracking, all that's been done is that they've created the shipping label. Nothing, I mean, the label hasn't even been put on the package yet, because nothing has moved out of the warehouse. Nothing has gone anywhere. There's no estimated delivery date. It's just, hey, we printed your label. Well, great. What do I care about that? Until the item actually moves, I don't need to know. Does that annoy anyone else? Because, you know, I think, oh, okay, it's on its way. No, it actually isn't. It's still sitting in the warehouse. They just printed a label. Yeah, pet peeve. That annoys me. What else? I am working on Gamer Girl, obviously. It's going a little slower than I would like. It is around, but it is very confetti heavy. Somebody mentioned in a comment that I should have done this with my tower method, and I really probably should have, because, yeah, the amount of times I have a rule when I'm doing confetti heavy canvases, and that is I basically do a first pass. And on that first pass, I try to do, I pick a color and then I do all of that one color in that section. And invariably, I miss something of whatever color I'm doing. But instead of going back as soon as I see it and pulling out whatever I've missed and fixing it, I leave it until I've done at least all of the colors once. Because what I've found is if I pick out the color that I've missed and I fix it, then I do another color and then I see another one that I missed of that previous color. And so I end up pulling out the same color 5 or 6 times. And rather than doing that, especially when I'm not doing the tower method, I do that first pass. Yes, I know I missed some. I will go back and get them on the second pass. I'm going to do all of the ones of a particular color first, and then as I finish everything up, whatever I've missed will be even more noticeable, so that if there are more of a particular color that I've missed, it will be more apparent. And that way I'm not pulling out that same color 5, 6, 7, 8 times. It doesn't always work the way I want it to, but I try to make that my rule of thumb. But yeah, this is a very confetti heavy canvas. Like I'm getting out this color. This is literally in this section, I need 1 drill of that color. I need 1 drill of this color. And then I can see a couple where I need 2 drills. So yeah, definitely this would be a good candidate for the tower method, had I thought about that. I don't think I realized when I was kitting this one up that it was going to be quite as confetti heavy as it's turning out to be. So I'm still working on this one. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I have several that I have unboxed from PR kits that I wanted to do, and they're all, 30 by 30, 30 by 40s around there. Because I've been doing such large kits that I was like, I think I need something smaller for the win, because I finished, gosh, my last finishes have been the Heaven and Earth, which was huge, the Gnomes, which was big, this one, which is pretty big, and then the next one I was going to do after this is about this same size, only it's square. I just thought maybe I just need to do something kind of small that I can do pretty quickly, that'll be a nice quick win in between doing some of these, because I'm getting a little burnt out. So I think that's what I'm going to do next, just get a couple of small things done. I don't know if I'm going to do any specials. I might just do some small, like I said, 30 by 30 or 30 by 40s. I've got a stained glass one I really want to do. I've got a couple of other ones you guys haven't seen yet that I want to do. I just have so many kits that I want to do, but they're all big. I think, yeah, I just need to do a couple of things that are a bit small. Give myself that little, refreshing little win before I go back into all the other things. I am enjoying this one though. I'm enjoying all the little vignettes of stuff that I get to do in this, although I don't know enough about games apparently. So I've already finished, there's like a little Game Boy at the bottom. I finished a couple of little mushrooms from Mario. I finished Mario himself. There were some little plants. Oh, there was like Link and Zelda's up here somewhere. There were some little plants that reminded me of Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. Like kind of Venus flytrap looking things. And I'm showing this kit to my daughter, and I said, did I miss something? Is this from some kind of video game? And she's like, yeah, Mom, these are... And she told me the name. She's like, they're in Mario. And I'm like, well, I never played Mario Brothers. That was after my video game craze. By the time Mario Brothers came out, I was interested in other things. So I didn't really ever play Mario Brothers. I mean, I recognized some things from it, but I didn't realize those like little Venus flytrap things were in it. But anyway, it's really cute. It's turning out really well. I'm a little... on her skin tone. I'm waiting to see how the rest of her turns out. Like her 1 foot, her feet are all that I've done so far. Her 1 foot that's in shadow, I like the way it turned out, but the other leg with the kind of shadows and then into the highlight part of the leg, it feels like a bit of a jarring change in color. Skin is so hard to do on diamond paintings well, I think. I've seen a couple of renderings that I think accomplished it really well, but again, probably something that should have been done, like somebody commented, in a little bit larger size. Although when I bought this one, I remember I thought this was the largest size they ordered or they offered, but I don't have any way to check since DIY Moon is no longer open. So it just is what it is. And I mean, it's a cute kit, so I'm having fun doing it. A little more confetti heavy than I thought, and yeah, maybe not. The rendering could be better maybe, but we'll see when I get done. So August I was going to use to do, well, I was hoping to do a couple of big projects in August and get a couple of, the bigger kits from my artist series knocked out of the way, because I wasn't really going to be doing any events in August. I mean, I'm never participating for the prizes anyway, so I don't know that it really matters that there were no events, but I just thought, oh, it's kind of a rest month, right? And I can just kind of do whatever I need to do and not worry about whatever, and then get ready for Drills and Chills in September. And I don't expect my Drills and Chills kit to take very long either, but it has been an interesting couple of days, and I am definitely ready for a nap. I think even though I didn't accomplish a whole heck of a lot, I think I'm going to call it there, guys. Like I said, I'm tired. I've got a migraine. Let me zoom out here. Yeah, so I didn't get a whole lot accomplished, but I keep this out. I actually work on it. After I get done editing, I listen to the WIP and chat again just to make sure that my edit makes sense. I've had it happen before where when I'm editing, I cut something out and I either misplaced what I'm cutting out, or I, cut in the wrong place or something and things jump around and don't make sense. I try not to do that to you guys, so I always listen to it again, especially the WIP and chats, before I put it up again. So I'll get another little bit of time done on this one, but we'll see. My wrist is starting to bother me, so I think I'm going to go put on my brace, go check on my youngest and see how he's doing with his medicine. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me, and thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.